Soul Eater. The mist around me was oddly calm. It kept its distance as I accompanied Gwen to my home. She clutched my arm with her frail fingers. We walked slowly, her head tilted towards the ground. It was very slow, but you cannot move rapidly when accompanying an old lady. It would simply be rude. We reached the porch where Gwen managed to take the first step on her own. As she passed the threshold, she appeared a little stronger, taking the next 2 steps firmly. I turned to the mist. Zoe was stood there. She smiled at me. "You have healed the mist," I said. "It let me, and now I am part of it. I keep my word, gatekeeper. I will guard you for as long as I can." I touched my heart and gave her a gentle nod. Zoe retreated into the mist. Zoe was once a nutritionist that dwelled in a swamp. She now has a symbiotic relationship with the mist, a mass of souls, dark ones. They have melded with her. She is the cool balm on a hot blister. I entered my lounge to find Gwen sat in the chair. Mortimer was in his usual spot beside the fireplace. "Your dog is very comforting, but that fire is not too warm at all," Gwen said. "Do you need heat?" I looked at Gwen as I sat down, crossing one leg over the other. "Now that you mention it, I don't think I do. I'm not even hungry anymore," she said. Gwen looked at the flames dancing on the logs. "Blue. They look blue. That's where my flat was, Blue Ridge Walk. It was on the top floor of a block. I didn't mind it so much. I lived on my own. My pension kept a roof over my head and food on the table. I couldn't get out much. The lift to my floor was out of order. My old bones couldn't handle all those stairs. Going down was not so bad, but coming up, oh no, I'd be climbing the stairwell for days. The local council member came to see me. He was a nice young man. He signed me up for Meals on Wheels. They delivered 3 meals a day. It was nice food. They come up, and all I had to do was heat it in the microwave. Sometimes it was piping hot, so I just ate it straight away. Didn't do much else, gatekeeper. Watched my programs on telly from my armchair and then went to bed. It sounds boring when I think about it, but honestly, I didn't mind it at all. Gwen looked at me. Her eyes dimmed a little. A day went by. They didn't show. I waited another day, but again they didn't show. Not to worry. I had a can of beans. Heat it up. That'll do me. But I couldn't turn the blasted can opener. Hurt my hand. Gwen held up her left hand. It hung limp. I made a cup of tea instead. I watched my telly. My house was warm. I didn't feel very good, so I remained in my chair. Gwen squeezed her left hand. I woke up in my armchair. I must have fallen asleep. The telly was still going. My flat was dark. I got up and went to the front door. I stopped. I heard something. Not a sound. More like a tug. From here. Gwen touched her heart. I found myself walking down the stairs. My bones didn't hurt. My hand. The pain was gone there too. A woman, coming upstairs with a child, screamed. She grabbed her child and ran downstairs. I didn't understand. I looked at what she was looking at. My feet. I had my slippers on, but I wasn't standing. I was floating above the stairs. Gwen looked at her frail hands. They thinned, chunks disappearing, as if an invisible force was eating them. I had no will. Each time I tried to think, what am I doing? The tug pulled me forward. Before I knew it, I was way out in the forest. I've never been there before. There was lots of us around there. I mean, people my age. We all floated towards a dip in the earth, slowly edging forward. I tried to talk to one of them, this other woman. but she didn't take any notice. She just floated towards a dip in the earth. Gwen looked at her left hand. No sound in the forest. Not like when you see one of those survivalists on TV camping in a forest. You can always hear the forest, the birds, the little insects. Maybe they added the sound later, I don't know. But on this night, there was no sound. There was nothing, just the tug. I got to the dip in the earth. There was something down there, big, round. Its mouth shaped like a well, only it was bright. Swallowing these poor souls who couldn't help it. They just drifted into it without a care in the world. Shoom, 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 all gone. The man screamed. He looked at me, looking around. Where am I? He said. I can hear her crying. Mia, she's crying. He looked around. He had got his wits back. A long whip, made of light, slung up and wrapped around his ankle. Pull. It pulled him into the mouth of that creature. It cut his scream short. Gwen looked at the fireplace. He pulled my wits back to me. I found myself there in the forest, moving away from the dip in the earth. That creature would have gotten me too. Why did he wake me up? He could hear his daughter thinking about him, weeping. He could feel her deep sorrow. That is enough to pull you back, I said. He didn't get away. He was too close to that thing's mouth. Gwen looked at me. It's a soul eater. They rear their heads when there is enough forgotten souls for them to feed on, mass. Souls that dwell alone, separated from the herd. Loved ones that have long passed. Ones that have forgotten to eat because they are lost in an old memory. Wash their face or comb their hair because it is not necessary anymore. Souls that do not have anyone to miss them, I said. Like me, Gwen said. Do you remember your family or friends? Gwen shook her head. I have been alone for too long, gatekeeper. Good thing I saw you standing on the hill. Where's your furry friend? I smiled. Hamish will return soon, I said. I could hear him, you know. He told me to come to you. Will you stop that thing? It doesn't sound like it's doing good to those souls. I shook my head. It is long gone. It will not return for a while. What if it comes back for other poor sods? Gwen said. It will. And if we can, we will intervene. However, as long as there are forgotten souls, there will be soul eaters to hoover them up. I watched the flames dancing on the logs. I don't see that ending anytime soon. Do you? Gwen shook her head. I'm a little hungry, gatekeeper. Gwen was a shadow of her former self. She appeared frail, even as an apparition. Come with me. I got up and offered her my arm. Gwen floated up. She smiled and took my arm with both hands. It made her corporeal again. Strong, handsome man. If only I were much younger. I smiled. I am older than I look. I escorted Gwen out the lounge. Veering left, we walked to the last door on the left. I opened it to reveal an elderly person's home. A nurse was waiting there. She offered her hand to Gwen with a gentle smile. To her right was a huge lunch spread on a long table where people sat and talked amongst themselves. All elderly folk. She's waiting for you, I said. Ooh, lovely. I hope they have pudding, Gwen said. Hamish trotted towards us from the stairs. Hello, you. Gwen slowly bent down and stroked his head. Pity you didn't call more of those poor sods. They could have come here with me, Gwen said. He did. He called all of them, but only you listened, I said. Gwen's smile faded. She shook her head. I should go now. He squeezed her left hand. I touched my heart and gave Gwen a gentle nod. She touched my chest with her palm and then moved slowly through the door. Once across, she became a vibrant lady again. The nurse escorted her to a seat at the lunch table. I closed the door and returned to the lounge. Hamish came in and sat on the arm of my chair. Mortimer was still in his usual spot, on the rug. A single malt whiskey waited on the table for me. Thank you, Mortimer, I said. He raised one ear. He turned towards me. It flopped back down. Gwen's door reflected what she craved, a comfortable existence with her peers. She will not starve to death like she did before. When she's ready to progress, I will open the door and show her where to go next. Her visit made me ponder on a question. If there is no one left to remember you, will you be forgotten? Entirely erased? The answer is an emphatic no. The universe does not forget its own. Divine Mother will not forget you. I will not forget you. If this was untrue, Hamish and I would not have gone to collect Gwen. The difference between her and the other souls that got devoured is that she wanted to come to us. We will even remember those that got devoured. They will surface again, one day, when the Mighty One deems it fit, when they have reformed and started their journey again. Parting thought, you got to want it to come to us. When you do, we will meet you halfway. You're not alone. Don't forget that. See you next Sunday at 11. Stay safe. Don't die in your sleep. Godspeed.